All right, so I've been getting a lot of responses to my Puma Punku video and the pyramid underneath it and stuff. And so I wanted to make this video to kind of give you guys an idea on why or how I came to my theory and why I think my theory would work. And that way people can understand it more, so they could see like the evidence of it, not just my, my ideas, but why I have these ideas.
Now, one thing like I have to
so this is
point
my
out
first
with
video.
my theory on this stuff. Now you see these blocks here. These blocks are the most famous at Puma Punku. Okay, they are the ones that they say, oh yeah, these are definitely machined blocks. This is alien technology, and because no one can answer what the hell these are even for, what it does, and shit like that. I'm gonna postulate a theory here. Now, all the blocks that have these perfect edges, these totally straight, flat, perfect, smooth edges, are all andesite. Even though they had andesite and sandstone available, the only square ones are andesite. So my belief is that it's a process of splitting the rock on a very tiny, tiny scale. Like something, we're not used to seeing, because we only do it to large boulders. Like these ones right here with a giant line and giant drill holes running along the line. Then they would stick in wedges, fill it with water, and let them swell up, and they would split the rock. So, but that's how you do it on a giant scale. It doesn't work on a little scale. And I'm saying they figured out a way to, in fact, make it work with andesite. And I think I have a theory on how this might have worked, okay? So if you were to take pieces of hot molten steel, like a piece of molten copper, you get it red hot, and then they would hammer it into these pre-drilled holes, and then do it all in succession, and it would heat the andesite from the inside out. And then they would throw water on it and cause it to fracture, to break it apart, basically. Not totally pop it off, but open up the fracture along the lines already that they already have cut in, and then they could just hit it or tap it, and it would crack off straight and crack off on a whole piece. Break off, there would be no marks of it. You wouldn't see the holes, you wouldn't see the damage from it, because that top line where it's carved should break off and split just perfectly.
All right, so there is my theory. Now let me explain to you why I think that this is correct, why I would come to such a idea anyway, just from looking at the evidence. So let's just take a look at some of this, more specific things. All right, so here we have a giant boulder. This thing's like 8 or 9 tons or 10 tons or something, and here's what one man is able to do. So this is, stuff like this is why I'm like, okay, when it comes to ancient aliens building megalithic structures, there's no need for it. Does that make me, does that change my belief in ancient astronaut theory? No, not at all. In fact, it just causes me to improve upon my theory. So this is one man. I mean, just look at what one guy is capable of doing. Okay, well there, he had a partner for 2 seconds. Alright, let's just take a look at some of these snapshots. This is just basically him by himself all day. The other guy's in the excavator. Alright, now look.
Alright, so just to give you an idea.
Now here's another part of my theory, so just listen to this.
Those pieces of rock have been sitting off to the side for, I don't know, 2 hours since I pulled them out. I mean, the first crack started at about an hour in.
So he's trying to crack giant stones with heat.
Let's see what they do.
So look how hot they are after an hour.
Those are hot. Some historical accounts of fire setting indicate that after the fire was really hot and after the stones got really hot, they would quench it with water, which they claimed was to induce thermal shock, which would cause the rock to crack
just
faster,
like I thought, just like my belief.
Cracks. It is very, very hot.
Now look, he sprays that one rock.
Watch how fast the water
Now listen,
evaporates off the
after he
rock.
sprays it. Hear that thud?
Dry as a bone. What we can see here is
Now look what happens when he goes to break them up.
The rock split in two. I focused on one half of the rock which was this half. And you could see that that half pretty much disintegrated. That's 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops with a sledgehammer, just hitting it. And what I found is that instead of feeling solid, the rock started, as I was hitting it, it felt brittle, and it was literally just cracking in big chunks.
See, so my theory was right about the effects of the heat on the stone and making it easier.
This was just crack, and it was just falling apart in pieces.
Pieces of hot molten steel, like a.
This is what I was saying.
Molten copper. You get
if
it
you're
red
like
hot.
get copper
and then
red
they would
hot,
hammer it into these pre-drilled holes, and then do it all in succession, and it would heat the andesite from the inside out, and then they would throw water on it and cause it to fracture, to break it apart, basically, not totally like pop it off, but open up the fracture along the
so that
lines
theory would work.
that they already have cut in, and then they could just hit it or tap it, and it would crack off straight and crack off on a whole piece. Break off, there would be no marks of it. You wouldn't see the holes, you wouldn't see the damage from it, because that top line where it's carved,
where it's scored right there,
break off
perfectly.
and split just perfectly.
Watch how fast the water evaporates off
Listen.
that rock.
Boom. Hear that thud. That's the water hitting it, that thermal shock causing it to
That last
fracture,
piece
makes it
split
so
in
much
half,
easier just to
kept floating
handle.
there, and
So they could
fire was running low, so
do it on a
was
small
let go out,
scale and chip off edges and keep it
couple
nice and
swings with
straight.
a sledgehammer, and
That's why you don't have the whole block lit on fire, just inside of the drill holes. Now see, this is what happens if you want to make a radius out of stone. So people are like, "Oh man, it's so impossible." No, it's not. It's a process of the stone, of it fracturing. It's something that is just comes with it. So when you make them in a line, if you don't make them straight, if you make them in a curve, how does the stone snap? It snaps in a curve, like it snaps like a bowl. So it have like a bowl shape to it, because see, the line's not straight. It has that kind of, it's got that curve to it. And now if you had it straight, it would split off straight. But if you do it in a curve, what happens? It pops out like this. And that's what naturally happens. So I was just saying that, advanced civilization would take, full advantage of that. Now, this is another thing. People are like, how do they drill those little holes then? By using a device like this. This is a pump drill. All right. Now, these things are cool because they can be used for a couple different things. It's a multi-purpose tool. You could either use it for drilling holes or for starting fires. Basically, it was invented for starting fires, but it's been used for everything, especially drilling. And this is what they found evidence of people using this as far back as the 1300s, as in like clear illustrations, of it. But other than that, it's hard to find anything on it. But they do believe it goes a lot further back. And some of the ones they found are really primitive, some from ancient Persia and stuff. So, but look at that. Now this guy, who's super cool, what's his name, like Paleo Man or something? I forget his name. I'll have to find out for you. But he's super awesome. Now he makes his own right here, okay, with his own arrowhead in there, his own spear tip, and now he is drilling through solid rock. No problem. And so they're like, oh, you have to have some kind of advanced drilling tool. No, you don't. You could do it like that, no problem.